She is the founder of the Perfect Plate, which is a really great bespoke catering company. Londi, welcome to the conversation.
Sometimes we plan, I'm going to take content 5 times a day, and this is what I'm going to do. So for me also, because I think I've tried to hold myself accountable by saying, okay, sticking to the plan, because life happens sometimes. So that's also very important to me, and also just maintaining the same customers throughout, because if we work together and then next thing you do not order, then I need to make sure that I know why and we are still in good terms.
Taking a job more for what you can learn as opposed to what you can earn. It's important, of course, to be in a space where you're earning and things like that, but sometimes also just to take cognizance of what am I learning in this space. And you spoke to that as well, and it's interesting how you're using what you've learned from PR and marketing even in terms of your own current business. And then number two, of course, is sometimes people envision something different for their lives, and then they don't take the steps to educate themselves in a manner that will move them in that direction.
Hi there. Welcome to Monetize Your Business podcast conversations in partnership with FNB. Today, we have a really great entrepreneur that we're going to be chatting to and really picking their brain in terms of their business and their entrepreneurial journey. So I'm very much looking forward to it. But of course, before we get into that, you know how we do it over here. I am not flying this plane on my own. I've got my trusted co-pilot with me, Papa Biz. Hi.
Hey, no, it's good to be here, and I'm looking forward to today's conversation.
Absolutely. Gosh, we're in the depths of winter and still trotting along. But having said that, are there any aha moments that are kind of coming up for you at the moment, Papa Biz?
I actually just finished this book called Never Split the Difference. The whole book is about negotiation.
Okay.
How to negotiate, the importance of negotiating, different elements of negotiating. And I was struck by just how much of an important skill it is to have, especially as an entrepreneur, and how much it's something that I've actually not paid attention to. It was such a good book discussing the different elements and ways to negotiate. And one of the things that I think it just reminded me of, especially as entrepreneurs and we engage with as we're nearing this half point in the year, but especially for also retail entrepreneurs. Often, in the beginning, to get a retail store or retail spot, we just take what we're given.
Yes.
And also because we haven't learned the skills of negotiation.
Yes.
And then we feel the impact when winter comes.
Yes.
Because especially in winter for entrepreneurs, especially retail entrepreneurs, it's terrible.
With sales are slow.
Sales are really slow, and it's terrible. And after reading that book, I realized there's so many notes, it's so many different strategies, so many different tactics, and it's things that I've taken note of to use. There's so many situations, and there's going to be people when they start to engage with us, or they're not even going to know what hit them.
Absolutely. I think, sure, that's such an interesting one. And I think maybe the biggest mistake that we make as entrepreneurs when it comes to negotiating is thinking that we don't even have the right to negotiate in the first place.
100%.
We often think that we feel so grateful. Wow, you're offering me retail space, or wow, you want to collaborate with me, that we don't often enter into these conversations as equal partners.
No, 100%. And I mean, for me, most times before, and I thought that, negotiating, I'm taking something away from another party. And that's what was presented. It was showcased to bring both parties to a point where it's a win-win. And many times you don't even realize by not opening your mouth, you're in a loose position where the other party is in a complete win position. And you've just been afraid, and you set yourself up for failure.
Wow, I love that. Win-win conversations. That's really great insights. And I'd love to expand this conversation a little bit more by bringing in Londi into the conversation. Konisi, she is the founder of the Perfect Plate, which is a really great bespoke catering company. They do cooking lessons, they do culinary experiences. So think food, but on an elevated experiential level for that premium version of yourself. Londi, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you, Hetty. Thank you so much for having me.
It's such a
Great to have you
pleasure
here.
to have
Thank
you.
you.
I actually want to get your insights into this conversation we've been having about negotiating.
Yeah.
Because, as entrepreneurs, we often enter into conversations from the back foot. And we need to
100%.
learn how to find our voice. And even, what do I want? What do I want to ask for? What are your views on
Exactly.
that?
It's actually interesting because I think what kind of helped me is because I also have a bit of retail. I've once worked in a retail store,
Okay.
and there was a lot of people who sometimes would try and negotiate the price because they're like, listen,
Yes.
this is what I'm willing to pay. And because of that, I've learned the art of negotiating. But obviously, sometimes especially when you're the one who's doing something because
Yes.
you want this to work. So
Yes.
you get you feel like, oh my God, I'm getting the space that I wanted, or I'm getting this place and I've wanted for a very long time. So then you feel like, okay, let me just take what I'm being given. But I think my experience, as I said, has helped me understand that there's actually nothing wrong with
Yes.
actually negotiating and saying, listen, I want this, but this is
Yes.
what I can have. So let's work around to find a solution.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. And I mean, Londi, just to ask, obviously in terms of with the business as well, as we've gotten to learn, your business is the Perfect Plate.
Perfect Plate, yes.
So tell us a little bit more about the business, and also how did you get there? What inspired you to have that specific business in terms of a business that could have been something completely different?
So my background is public relations. I grew up in Cape Town, did a bit of marketing, and I was like, okay, I think for this to work, I need to move to Joburg because it has big potential in Joburg. So I moved to Joburg, and then I did a bit of retail because when I got here, I was looking for a job.
Yes.
I worked in retail at a jewelry store, and then when I was there, my mom was like, ma'am, what's the plan? Because great, you got a job, but then you can't be there forever. And then I was like, okay. And then I went back to school.
Okay.
I thought I wanted to do film and television. I'm going to be a presenter, but life happened.
Yes.
Ended up falling in love with PR. And then that's what I did. I got a job in PR.
Okay.
I used to watch a lot of cooking shows. I loved them. So I was so passionate that if someone is sent home, I would be devastated and start crying. But how can this person leave? Because it was, so I never thought because I didn't grow up cooking that much, but I thought it was just I loved doing that. So eventually I decide that, okay, I'm just going to go and learn cooking, which I thought it was just so that I know how to. But then I've always heard people say, find something that you love and you'll never work a single day in your life.
Yes.
Yes.
I did PR and I enjoyed it because you never know what's going to happen today. There's this client and tomorrow is a different client. So every day was something, a new experience.
Okay.
And then I went, so I told my parents, I'm stopping now, I'm going back to school. And they were like, okay. I find the school, learn how to, it's like a culinary school.
Okay.
So I went there. So the first day, because I'm a girly girl, I like pink nails and everything. So the first time when we went there, they were like, no nails, no lashes, no, all of that. Or, no more.
Sure.
And then the first day when we went to the kitchen, they were like, here are your boots. And we're like, do you have pink shoelace? They were like, no, ma'am, nothing. We're in the kitchen now. So these are the safety measures that you should take. We stood in that kitchen the whole day.
My goodness.
The whole day. And then when they were like, okay, you guys are done, they were like, okay, you have to clean down everything, scrub and clean.
Sure.
I was exhausted when I got home. But for the very first time in my life, I felt like I can actually do this again. If tomorrow we had to do it. And then I was like, it doesn't mean you don't get tired because you found something you love, but it just means you feel fulfilled. And I think that's what happened to me. Sorry. And then I think that's when I knew that this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And the Perfect Plate was born.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Sure.
Thank you.
It really is nice when you find that kind of aha moment and you're like, okay, this I can do. Even if I'm tired, even if it's challenging, I can definitely do this.
100%.
Now, tell me, how did you transition though into the Perfect Plate? Because I'm assuming you're now working for someone. How did you feel that, listen, I can actually do this on my own?
I actually, I think I make decisions quite quickly. So at the
Really?
yes. So when I started working, also I think I kind of observed because I was very strategic with places I worked at. So I
Okay.
looked at who I wanted to work for in the industry.
Yes.
So I was, even when I was at school, I was like, hey, listen, I'm at school and this is, I want to come here when I'm done. So what must I do?
Wow.
And then I kind of got insight of everything that happens in the industry. And then I think I realized at that point that I didn't want to work for someone
Yes.
for long. So if I'm coming in to learn, and then I'm gonna do my own thing. So it was
Yes.
very, very early on. So I just learned as much as I could what I needed to.
Yes.
And then after that I was like, okay, the rest I'm gonna learn when
You're
I'm doing it
ready.
by myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was not ready, but I just said I'll be ready
You'll
on the
learn
way.
on the way.
Exactly.
I love that. Sure.
And I want to check. I mean, if you looking back in terms of how you grew up,
Yeah.
were there elements, if you're looking at where you're entrepreneurial while you're growing up, were your parents entrepreneurial, or where did this come from? Because quite a lot of people, they get into work for the idea to work, and
Yeah.
they'll find different companies to work for, but pretty much they're going to work for 45 years. If you have to look, where did this come from?
Shame, they're still surprised. I think I'm the only one in the whole family. Everyone is like an academic. Other
wow.
people are doing. So I'm the first one. And my mom, every day when things don't go, she's like, don't you want to go back to here? My child, you can always talk to that lady. So I'm like, no, I'm going to make it work. It's actually weird. I think now that I look at it, I think my life has been set. I've always been an entrepreneur, like the way, even like with schools and everything, like the way my brain works. I'm a creative by nature. And I think that's why there was a bit of marketing, because my brain works all that. Like I'm always thinking, if I'm sitting somewhere, like, okay, that could be a business. Like, what can I do? Like, so I have always been like that, I think. But at the time when I was growing up, I didn't really understand it. But now that I'm older and like have a bit more experience in life, I'm like, so it has always been there. But I think because I thought, okay, you study, you grow up, and then you get a job. I didn't really understand what it was at the time. Yeah.
It's actually interesting because if I look at, even in terms of my family, everybody in my family, it's academic and studied and working. There's so many different elements, even my extended family.
Yeah.
And if I look back, as I'm thinking about what you're talking about, even in childhood, wasn't really ever entrepreneurial. And it was just, I think it was actually in varsity where there was a book that I got to read, and then my mind just started changing in terms of the possibilities. That, oh no, you don't have to do life this way. There's actually other ways. And it just changed the thinking in terms of, okay, now it's a new tribe that now I need to connect with.
Yeah.
I don't know if you also experienced any bit of that.
100%. I think 100%, because even I think for me, even when I got to Joburg and like the friends, I was lucky with like people that I surround myself with, because I think the first time when I experienced it, I actually noticed that. So what happened is I had this friend who, when they would go out, they would talk about business. And I noticed, I picked this up a lot with guys, because like we, as my friend, would go out and would talk about this hair. Oh, the outfit looks so nice. Where did you get this? There's a sale at this place. And I realized that men go out and they talk about the business side of things before. It's not that they're not going to have fun, but they talk about business. So I was always the friend who's like, friend, don't you want us to buy? Let's come together and buy an apartment. Let's buy. So I think like there's always been like hints of like, okay, what can I do? Because we don't have to do things like, I don't have to be like everyone in my family, but like, yes, you can have education because it's amazing and it helps in a way, but then you can really do like be an entrepreneur and figure things out, and you'll be surprised at what you are able to achieve. Yeah.
Cool.
I'm interested in the niche that you've chosen for yourself, which is around bespoke culinary experiences.
Yeah.
Because I think we're all familiar with like your regular catering for weddings and funerals and things like that.
Yeah.
But bespoke culinary experiences tells me that you're going to experience something different,
Yes.
a taste sensation,
100%.
even the visual presentation of it.
Yeah.
What made you want to enter into more elevated food experiences?
I think it's the same reason why I fell in love with food. Like obviously food is like I eat everything. I don't have. So I think it's the reason why I actually started cooking, which was like, it was inspired by like a lot of MasterChef, and you see everything there. It's food, it looks nice. They talk about the complexity of flavors, balancing. So I think I was always fascinated by balancing food. And I watched how those men would describe a plate of food. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
They made it seem like this thing that lived, like
Yes.
it's just like, I was like, oh my god, these men. So I think that's what I wanted people to experience when they
Yes.
eat my food as well, because it was on TV. I was not the one tasting, but
Yes.
whatever it is that they would say to me, I would be like, oh my god, I want to eat that plate of food. So I think, and also I have an understanding that people eat with their eyes first, and then from then you taste. And so I wanted to create an experience where a person is going to experience something that they've never experienced, and also like have like feel amazing, because I think that's what food does for me, and I wanted
Yes.
them to feel the same thing. Yeah.
Wow. Sure.
So I guess with you, I mean, if I'm even looking at it, and also people from the outside, I mean, they'll be seeing the beautiful food, and
Yeah.
the type of experiences, the type of events
Yeah.
as well. If you have to look and consider what entrepreneurially are people not seeing, like in terms of what you'd be going through in the journey, what are some of the things that they don't see in terms of that you'd be experiencing?
The sleepless nights, the long hours, and actually having to show up the following day with like the best mood and smiling. And because like our work is insane. Like, you have to go and buy stuff, find the things, and find inspiration. And we cook in the morning. You have to wake up super early, or you had like a late night. So I think people just see everything looking amazing. And listen, it's nice, and it's also fulfilling for you, because when a person enjoys what you've put in hard work to, it's really nice. But like, it's, you need to be willing. Also, you don't celebrate the birthdays and the long holidays and the good December. For us, we are
'Cause you're
ready to
working.
work.
That's
Yes.
your peak, actually.
So when it's December,
Oh, my
Easter, what people are
goodness.
praying, please pray for us as well, because Mina, I'm busy with pickled fish at that time.
Yes.
So yeah.
Because during those holidays, that's when the
That's
mind
your
is thinking,
busiest
hey, let's get
time.
able, hey, can you come and sort this
Yeah.
out for us? You see, so
100%.
you don't get that often.
100%.
And I'm seeing people even utilizing companies like yourselves for things like Christmas. They tell themselves, you know what, we're giving ourselves the day off. Let's also be, treated to nice things and
100%.
things like that.
Yeah.
We're at the midpoint of the year, Londi, and I often find that it's a powerful time to reflect on like just how the year has been. I know we all start off the year with all these grand ideas of what we're going to do and so forth. And sometimes, yes, we do get to accomplish some of those things. But other times we find that, hey, we need to pivot a little bit. Things didn't necessarily go the way we thought that it would and so forth. When you reflect at the midpoint of the year, what are some of the things that you are thinking about in your business?
I think so. I used to be a person who plans big, like I was like, go big or go home. But one thing that I've learned is that I think like having like long lists kind of overwhelms me,
Yes.
and then I end up not doing anything, because every time when I look at my list, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
So what I now have done, and I actually, one of the things you told me that
Yeah.
2 things
Yeah.
and do that.
Yes.
So now I've had my list with like 4 things, and I was like, if I achieve just 2 of those 4, I will
Yes.
be very excited.
Yes.
So now that it's mid-year, so for me, I tried to do the stuff that I wanted to do.
Yes.
And then now that it's mid-year, I'm like, okay, I've done the plans of the first half.
Yes.
Now, what does that look like? What do I need to work on? What do I need to change? What do I need to keep doing? And then from there, then I can know that, okay, this is what that will determine what the second half looks like for me. Yeah.
Yes.
And for you, when you are looking, as one comes to mid-year, what are the things that you look to see that make you think, okay, we are on the right track, we can just add 1 or 2 things, or to also communicate to you, we need to make some big changes? What are the things that you look at that communicate that to you? Is it the numbers? Is it the number of events? Is it the number of inquiries? What do you look at?
Everything that you've listed, but also consistency on my side, because sometimes we plan, I'm gonna take content 5 times a day, and this is what I'm gonna do. So for me also, because I think I've tried to hold myself accountable by saying, okay, sticking to the plan, because
Yes.
life happens sometimes. So that's also very important to me, and also just maintaining the same customers throughout, because if we were together and then next thing you do not order, then I need to make sure that I know why, and we are still in good terms. And also like new clients, obviously. And yeah, I think those are one of the things that I look at.
That's brilliant. I'm also interested to pick your brain, Londi, on how do you navigate the slow or difficult seasons? For example, now it's mid year, it's also winter. So for retail, it's often very, very slow. People aren't always motivated to buy and go to events and do different things. So that impacts a lot of people's businesses. And often at times in those seasons, it's easy to crawl up in the fetal position and kind of feel sorry for yourself. How do you replenish your energy, your motivation, your mindset to actually build yourself up to keep going?
I think fortunately for me, my business is like food is seasonal. So it kind of like, if planned well, it's not like I have an opportunity to not have like an extremely, yes, in terms of like some events, because there's not like as many events as summer. But firstly, I always make sure that we all know winter is gonna come, spring is gonna. So I will not act like, oh my god, it's winter
a
now.
shock.
No. So I plan it in advance. I change my menus, and which is exciting because I like winter food because it's very nice. It feels
Yes,
like a hug.
cozy.
So different menus, different like special, so that people they know, like, because one of the things that I also do is meal preps, for example. So I know that people struggle with maintaining healthy eating in winter.
True.
So now it's I get a chance to actually also challenge myself in thinking, how can I make sure these people eat healthy without abandoning the plan and the reason why we're eating a certain way. So for me, I think I plan in advance, change menus, introduce like winter specials, deliveries, because sometimes it's Sunday, you are with your family and you don't feel like cooking,
Yes.
because oxtail is going to take you like the whole day. So then that's my opportunity to say, listen, you don't have to do this. You can sit at Netflix and chill, and I'll take care of everything.
I love that.
Yeah. So I just plan in advance, basically.
So I want to check for you, obviously going from PR and then going to the culinary school and then growing this business.
Yeah.
How did you go about getting customers? So how do you go about getting customers? And I guess also it lends itself, as you just spoke about now, and I'm thinking, how important in your business then is keeping customers?
Yeah.
So having customers who come back and things like that.
Okay. So how did I get customers? I think it's marketing. I tried to push a bit of marketing, word of mouth as well. And shame, when I started, my friends had no choice but to buy. I was like, listen here. So I used people around me to say, listen, this is what I'm doing. Please come. I'm gonna cook, and then you guys gonna come and eat, because obviously I can't just tell you that I'm selling something and you have no idea what I'm talking about. So initially that's how it started, and I actually do pop-ups quite a bit.
Oh wow, okay.
Because now it's winter, I understand that people are at home. So for example, there's like people running comrades. I was there telling them, listen, we are running, but we need to fill our bodies.
Wow.
That's
so
brilliant.
you can't run, work, take vitamins. Let me take care of the food while you do everything else. I go to gyms to say, guys, before you guys run away and stop coming to gym, you need to eat.
Yes.
So let's do one thing right. If you're gonna be at home lazy to go and train, let me eat right then, so that you don't come back summer and then you have 3 weeks until December and summer body. Let's maintain one. So I try to actually put myself and do as much marketing as I can. Yeah.
That's brilliant. And I like the fact that you even look to infiltrate into spaces where you think your potential customer is going to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's absolutely brilliant. You spoke also a little bit about social media, and I found it to be such a powerful tool for businesses
Yeah.
to be able to put yourself out there. But not everybody's a social media person. We're often afraid of it.
Look at
Are you
this.
self-confessed? Yeah. So
My
how do you
Lord.
approach that then? When you know that this is a good tool for me to use, but I don't feel like, oh my gosh, you feel a bit cringy putting yourself out there.
Unfortunately, I do not have a choice, Shamias. I
Mm.
don't. So firstly, I found a person who, because I was like, okay, I need to do social media and there's all
Yes.
these tools and editing, what.
Mm.
And I was like, oh my God, I can't, like, I don't think I'm going to be
Yes.
amazing at this. And I found a person who will help me with that. And I am actually slowly but surely getting out of the, okay, this is not me, this is not what something I like. Because unfortunately, when you build a business, sometimes you need to do the things that you
Yes.
don't want or you don't like to do,
Absolutely.
until I get to a point where then I can have a Zandile do it. But for now, I really try and do everything, even the things that I don't want to do. So yeah.
Absolutely. I think sometimes there does come a point where consistency and discipline is what wins, not necessarily what you want to do in the moment, but just that
Exactly.
consistency and discipline.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm interested in the things that pour into you, Londi. Are there any books, podcasts, or things that you're reading or following, or individuals that you are finding to be very helpful in your entrepreneurial journey?
I do. I actually, I'm not even saying this because I'm here, but I follow you quite a bit, and I think you've kept me going. There is a book, The Atomic Habits.
Oh, Atomic Habits.
Love
It's
it.
amazing.
James Clear.
Yes.
Very good one.
A Diary of a CEO as well.
nice one.
I've
Stephen
read that.
Bartlett.
Yes. So I
Yeah.
do read, and then I also do pick up some podcasts that I listen to. So yeah, I think that's how and also just like being around some entrepreneurs sometimes, or people who are
Yes.
just doing amazing
Yes.
at whatever fields that they're in. I think it just gives you like perspective, and it just keeps you going, because
Yes.
you get inspired when you see, okay, this is what this person is doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That energy transfers.
Yes,
It's
100%.
really, really quite nice.
Yeah.
I've really picked up on some fantastic nuggets in our conversation. I'm really enjoying it so much. Papa Biz, I'm interested to hear from you what's coming up for you in this conversation.
It's two things that I'm seeing. Sometimes people miss on it and the importance on it. The first part is, taking a job more for what you can learn as opposed to what you can earn. It's important, of course, to be in a space where you're earning and things like that, but sometimes also just to take cognizance of what am I learning in this space. And you spoke to that as well, and it's interesting how you're using what you've learned from PR and marketing even in terms of your own current business. And then number two, of course, is sometimes people envision something different for their lives,
Yeah.
and then they don't take the steps to educate themselves in a manner that will move them in that direction.
Yeah.
For somebody to move from the spaces that you're into to where you're at now, I mean, you have to invest time, money, and just learning, just how to be able to present, cook, put things in a manner that will entice people to come on board and to support you. And I want to commend you for that. It's an important lesson for all of us to take note of, so that if we want something different, well, we need to do something different.
Yes, yes.
100%.
That's a very powerful takeaway. Londi, if a person wants to get in touch with you, if they want to use the services of the Perfect Plate, how do they do that?
My contact details are 063 209 3480. Or they can follow my Instagram page at the _perfect without the T,
Okay.
_plate_ on Instagram.
Lovely.
I think on my bio they will find a link to my website.
Lovely.
And
I
then
love
they'll
that.
inquire, and then I'll take it from there.
For me, my biggest aha moment is something that you said, very fleeting, but it really stuck with me. And you said that, when I make a decision, I just go for it.
Yeah.
And I love that because I think that there is energy and there is so much that follows action. Yes, do your research. Yes, shadow individuals. Yes, do all your necessary due diligence. But once you've made the decision, take action.
100%.
Because what often happens when we don't take action is that we get stuck in analysis paralysis, we overthink it, and then we convince ourselves out of the thing that we actually wanted to do. So I thought that was very powerful in sharing that if you've got an idea, take the action and do your relevant due diligence at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really stood out for me.
Yeah.
Monetizers, let's put the ball in your court. Tell us what stood out for you. Please share and engage in the comment section and tell us what has really stood out for you in today's conversation. We've had such a wonderful time with Londi. Of course, we will share all of her details within the description box, and we will see you in our next episode.